All right, we're back. I got this bike. If you saw my last weekly update video, I got this bike back from powder coating, as well as another yellow one. We'll probably do kind of the same video again in a few days or a week on that one, in case we missed anything on this or whatever, just because it also has to just get done. It's for my sister, and I gotta get it built up so she can ride that thing. But this is my latest handmade custom bicycle. It's I call it my 4th of July frame because I finished it on 7/4 of 2025. Made my little head badgy dude for it. It's a little brass guitar pick I bought on eBay. I bought like a bag of them. So I can have a little Star Michael Bowman, my little logo on a little tiny stamp. I can stamp it. I got some cool number stamps to stamp the date on. It's impossible to keep track of bikes and this and that, ordering serial number everyone. That's crazy. My serial number now is just my date and my logo brazed onto the frame. So this is a 650B Randonneur, or honestly, it could be a 650B sports touring bike. I've got my dummy wheels in it right now, so these wheels are wheels I built just to keep at the shop. They're perfectly round and true. They're perfectly dished that I play with all the time. This is a post powder coat prep video. So powder coaters used to do a pretty bad job. Powder coaters are not artists. Like bike painters are artists. They paint bikes. They rarely paint anything else. They know every trick and tip. They're painting show bikes. They're doing a nice job. Powder coaters are industrial dudes who are smoking cigarettes, and they don't give a crap between your bike and some beat up old 70s truck rim and some brand new toolbox. Like, they're mostly doing car rims and toolboxes and staircase, like big metal staircases and handrails and stuff. They don't care. Half the time they'll cringe when they see a bike because they know they're hard. They're really hard to do. So about the triangle shape here, like to make a Faraday cage effect and not let the powder get in here. So they have to do some bikes. They have to be kind of good at them. I wouldn't recommend just taking to any old powder coater who's like, oh, I've never done a bike before. Like, you might want to find a guy who's like done some bikes, knows they're a bit of a challenge to these round tubes and inside these little like triangle areas that make Faraday cages. I paid $35 for powder coat, and it was a good deal. I'm using this place CC Coatings here. They used to do bike painting too, and the new guy bought it and did powder coating. It was always pretty good, but not great. The new guy was like a little rough for a while. He's pretty good now. The two that were there when I went and dropped these off looked good. These two came back looking good. So it's pretty thin, it's pretty nice, there's pretty even coverage. There are some problems with powder. They used to be worse. This guy's getting real good at it. Some problems with powder, they sandblast everything first, so there's a ton of sand inside things, and it gets on the powder coat. So you dig through the powder coat a little bit, you'll find a speck of sand stuck in it here and there. What do you want? This guy charges $200 now. This is minimum. It's $200 for frame and fork. That's kind of the color. It's kind of the price of sandblasting, setting up the sandblaster and setting up the powder gun. So on my sister's bike, it was $200, all yellow. On this bike, it was $240 because I threw in a stem, a decalier, a front rack, and a pump. That's a lot of extra value for $40. They won't let you throw in a second bike or anything. They know that trick. I used to have a powder coater wood. He's like, I don't know, I'll charge you $50 for a color, whatever you want. I could throw in like 4 bikes. It's great. Get them all done orange and then slowly build them up. So one of the problems is we've got to get all the sand out of here. The whole time you build it's going to be gritty and everything's going to be weird. Get any extra sand out, we'll shake it, we'll clean it with a wire brush and, like a toothbrush. Another problem is sometimes they miss some of the braze-ons, like these water bottle bosses and things. That one's sitting up high, that one's sitting down low. And so there'll be powder in the threads, and we often have to run taps. Same with the candy bosses. There's often, you see they're taped off with this green tape. You also have the inside of the seat tube, which was amazing. Sometimes they don't. The seat tube's full of powder, and you gotta ream it all out. Sometimes I don't tape these right, and you get powder right on the transition where the actual candy's supposed to be, and the candy's all stiff and won't turn. You gotta sand it all off. Got a special tool for that I'll show. It's actually such a good job. This is almost a bad example because there's so little of it that actually needs to get cleaned. Well, I'm going to show you anyways because there's some things that are questionable you have to clean. Like there's often some things that really need to be perfect, like the bottom bracket face and the headset face where the cups actually go in. You want those cups to be perfectly flush and parallel with each other. If there's some powder or something in there making it sit up, you have a tight spot in your bearings, you can kill your bearings. That used to be really important with bottom brackets, except for everyone uses sealed cartridge bottom brackets now. It's not so important. This is really nice and flat and smooth. Probably doesn't need. I've seen powder coat drips on stuff, drips in the dropouts, you defile them. This is kind of a bad example. Bear with me. So I might not even face this. I've already faced it before, which is using cutting tools on these faces. The cutting tools are attached to each other on a big thick post, so they have to cut perfectly flush. Perfectly flush. So the bottom bracket really might not face it, 'cause it's going to get a sealed cartridge. But let's look at this dang thing and see if we can actually do some work to it. Yeah. I hope you're jealous of my frame builder wheels. They're freaking hot. Did you see that? I got the fully vertical dropouts here, so the wheel just falls right in and out. You never fight your fender. Heaven. All right, I'm gonna take the fork out. This is just a dummy headset that Frame Builder Supply sells. So it's just like a regular headset, but it's just cut out of solid aluminum and is just slightly undersized or oversized. So it's fit right over the crown race, fit right up inside these tubes real nice. This one has a little winger dinger. He makes them an 1.1 and 1 inch. These are great for playing with frames and bikes that don't have a headset. We want the fork in for some reason, or for measuring. They're the standard like 13 millimeters, which most lower headset cups are. So you can set your bike up level and make sure everything's right. These are real nice. These are my frame buildery cutting and facing tools. This cuts bottom bracket faces. This cuts the threads and bottom brackets. This reams and faces the head tube. This is a fork thread steerer. This does 1.1 head tubes. Got little taps for my derailleur hanger, M5s and 6s and taper taps. This is my cool Candy Boss mill. Anything that's a little mushroomed or damaged, or if it's got paint where it's not supposed to be, you can run this thing right down your Candy Boss and clean that paint off. It's a little facer. Big long M6 is my seat tube reamer for 27.2, and I've also got a bunch of other sizes I use. The crown race cutter. Let's take a look at this guy. So what I like to do, and I've seen people do other things and I don't like them, like clamp the fork crown in the vise, is this is, one of those like old bike rack things that every old bike shop has a million of and no one uses anymore. So I can put the fork right in this bad boy and clamp it down. Clamped. But it'll still kind of rotate. Don't rotate too much, Bo. You see this green tape on here? The first thing I'm gonna do is get rid of this green tape. They used some on here, but they actually didn't mask off the actual lip where the crown race has to seat on. I don't want that crown race to be handy dandy Park Tools shop scissors. Come on, bro. Come off, my dude. Riveting video, just me taking forever to get some tape off. All right, tape all the way off. So yeah, they used to try to only mask these, like the tips, or just put a bolt in, which let a bunch of powder get in these threads. Even with the tape on here, these threads are exposed, so there's probably a bunch of sand and stuff in there. They're off. Can I use my little Candy Boss mill? Doesn't need it. If the paint came up, like this, it's like a thin post and a slightly larger post, and then this big flat section with the 3 holes. Having a little bit on the slightly larger post, no big of a deal. The spring covers that. I actually try and get them to not mask that because it'll rust, so now I have to grease them. You always grease your posts, but I always grease those real heavy. Try and keep them from rusting. This little mill can just go on the ends and cut this little face down nice and flush. These mills are absolutely unavailable, unobtainium. Brian Chapman made a little batch of them recently, and everyone wanted. He said he would send me something. I think it might be one of these. Maybe he forgot. It's very cool. To blow out these posts, we're just going to take a nice little M6 tap. Make sure there's no gunk in it. We don't want to put more trash in. We're trying to get trash out. There's a little Park Tools CF2 cutting fluid. Any good tapping fluid, cutting fluid will work just fine all over the floor. Just want a little bit on these threads just in case. These are M6 by 1. These taps are like $5 or $6. Don't complain. You should get one, especially when powder coat a bike and try and build it yourself. This bike is so nice, there's a good chance I could just build it and everything would be fine. There's also And sometimes I get some like this, and then also, oh, it looks so good, you don't even need to tap or face anything. And then I go to build it, and like, this thread's full, and that one's full, even though most of the other ones are fine. Like, there's always a couple of things that will make building like a nightmare if you don't face and chase and ream everything. I do offer this service, just like a shameless self-promotion. So you can pay me to do this for you. It's not cheap. You can always try and build the bike first and then just find like the one or two things that need it. So you can hear it. You hear the grit and the crunch, 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 crunch. That's sand, my dude. This stuff turned black from all the dirt and sand. Probably doesn't need it, but it just makes me feel better. Back in the day, these things are always, had these come completely powder coated. I spent hours filing and sanding just the candy bosses because I didn't know to mask them off. So some places, and I bet if you're not here in Portland, a way better chance any powder coat place you find is not used to doing bikes. Just mangle it. All right, I got this off. So that's M6. I think that's the only M6 other than the rear. We'll do that later on camera. I got my little M5. Same thing. A little bit of cutting oil. And we're just going to check. They do, now they make little plugs for everything. So they have these little like silicone plugs they stick in. So the powder doesn't get in there. Yeah, that's super smooth and nice. Perfect. This could also have an issue from when I brazed it up. I could have got some junk in there, had some problems. I usually check. A lot of frames, they just slap together, throw paint on, ship out the door. So a lot of times you'll get a bike brand new in the box and it'll have threads that you can't get bolts into, paint or powder in the threads. So this is kind of for any new frame. I had somebody buy a brand new crust recently and brought it to me for this. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, this bike is nice. It doesn't need anything. And then I started looking at it and it was like this. It seemed so nice. But I found at least 3 out of the 20 bottle bosses you could not get a bolt into. I had to run a tap through. And then I told him I probably didn't need the headset. And when I pressed the headset in, it was chipping the paint. It was so thick. I really should have reamed and faced his headset too. Yeah, this is taking some dirt off with it. It's poking out the back. It's got a bunch of gunks. This bottom one probably been very hard to get a bolt in. Would have been very annoying. Very easy to cross thread and strip because you couldn't tell because it feels so poopy the whole time. You have to be really careful with taps and cutting tools. They are super hardened steel to cut through steel. And being extra hard makes them brittle like glass. So if you put a bunch of pressure on this, you're yanking it, trying to do it crooked. I've seen guys snap these off in the frame. Unless there's enough sticking out to get pliers on and twist them, you're in real trouble. You can sometimes figure out a way to get them out, but you can't drill through them. I've gotten diamond drill bits to try and drill through them, and sometimes that works. They're 80, 90 bucks. Yeah, this one blew a lot of crap out too. So the silicone plugs they stick in from this side, I don't think protect the back side as much. There's probably some powder in the last few threads on the inside. Or sand residue, or rust, or flux, or who knows what. Smooth, yeah, it's definitely taking a couple layers of powder coat off. Alright, thank God, we do need this video. We do need to do this. Also, notice how thin tubes are? You can't just stick something longer than the depth of this tube through. You can... I had a lady in for repair recently. She did that. She had a bottle boss like this for a rack. And she just got a giant old long bolt and just put it all the way through. It just broke the tube, didn't pull it out, punched all the way through the other side. Very expensive. So with something like this, just, you know, tap it about less than the thickness of how thick that tube is. These bottle bosses are only, you know, about 5 or 6 millimeters of thread, so you don't have to go too far. Oh yeah, this one's real dirty. Gave me some goop. That could just be rust from after I braze the frames. I soak them in water to clean all the flux off, and sometimes I get there's a little surface rusty, more contamination and rust floating in the water. Or I'll leave them soaking overnight or for a couple of days. Get that flux off. Hey, alright, this is coming out good. Nice and gentle. Got sand all over my hands, so sand just comes out of these things from everywhere. Shake it out some after this. So this crown erase, it looks so close to being good. The powder is barely up there, but it's completely on it. Can't have it. I can't have it. I'm going to take crown, erase, cutting. So where is it? So this is the Park one. The old style ones are threaded, so they have like threaded, like a headset threaded, so you can hold them down and get spring tension. The Park ones don't, because it's for threadless. So instead they have a weird cup like this. So you can tighten down this ring and it expands or crushes this cup. It's got all these slits in it, kind of just like the slits in a headset or whatever, or slits in a stem or whatever. So it crushes down, gets tight, so it can build in some tension. You don't want this thing too loose, it'll chatter, but you don't want it too tight. Doesn't really need it. I'm not cutting any metal, I'm just taking that layer of powder off. So just gonna slide it down. Just gently hold it. I'm not gonna mess with all the tension, all the stuff. You can see the little Medusa hair of powder coat just come right off. Probably could put some oil on this, but I don't actually want to take any metal off. I've already cut it. It should come cut from the factory. Any factory bike you order should come pre-cut. But just want to scrape that. Look at all that flakes of powder coat. Just a nice thin layer. And with any luck, we'll take a close look at that. And it should just be bare metal. Total steel, no powder coat. And there might be a little bit on the back. I didn't get it too flat. Pressing down uneven force, not using the spring. So I'm just gonna hold the back. Try and make the force I'm trying to press all the way down evenly. I just took a little bit off and that's probably it. It is probably totally perfect now. And that is it for the fork. Let's finish some of this frame. This is just like a dollar store brass brush, actually aluminum with like brass coating on it. Sucks. We're just gonna kind of get in here. See the sand falling out of the brazons as I shake it. So shaking the whole frame is not a bad idea. Just get rid of this sand. Get rid of this sand. It's real soft bristles. It's not going to hurt these threads. It's not going to hurt nothing. Yeah, a bunch more is falling right down in there. I'm tapping it and a bunch of sand's falling out of the inside of these stays. Just falling out. There's vent holes inside this head tube for it to vent, so I can try and, oh, there's a big dynamo hole too. Now most of that's out, let's try it again. So much sand, get out sand. There's probably a bunch on this brush now. Now you have to decide if there's any inside this lip, any that would be a problem. We can run the cutters through, that'd be boring. We don't need it. It's so flat. Steel cartridge bottom bracket. This is golden. I am going to do the candy bosses and all these bottle bosses all over it too, but let's go ahead and do the head tube for the same reason as the crown race. It's very thin, but it is a layer. It is a little wavy and bumpy. I want that bearing to sit flush. This thing has a little bit of oil on it, and we're not going to cut any metal. We're just going to cut the powder. There we are. You can see it does the same thing. So it's making little shrapnel or Medusa heads in powder coating. That's starting to sound like metal. We don't want that. I'm trying to, come on. Gently lift and turn. You never want to go backwards. You'll dull your stuff. Just lifting and turning. Come on. Everything's going wrong, so I'm trying to make a video. I've never had this thing. It's probably galling up in there too. What's happening? Come on. Straight. Straight. The same thing. I'm going to look at this. Make sure all the powder's gone. Make sure it's nice and smooth. It's a little bit thick. It's like 99% gone. I'm going to show you guys another trick though too. You can do at home without this. That works really good. So this is a wooden block from like a kid's toy set or something I found at Goodwill. Here's a piece of 2x4, anything that's still pretty flat. Wrap the sandpaper around it. It basically makes a flat block. Careful not to touch that nice fresh stuff. And scratch up any paint. Don't get any scratches on your top tube. I just cleaned it, made it super smooth, super flat, got rid of any of the powder. Gorgeous. Let's do the other side too. Same thing, so a little ring of powder. This flat block's going to be a lot harder because it's, you know, not as sharp and powder's thick and it's real tough. Also want to be careful not to get anything. I don't want to be flat. So always use some tape, tape a rag on here or something. I'm not trying to do the corners, I'm trying to get the whole thing even. Having a really hard angle. Now this side's all flat, that side's got a tiny bit of powder left. Hold it nice and flat on there. And that's it. Sanded right through the powder. We're nice and flat and perfect again. I'm going to go through them and check these shift bosses, check all the rest of these bosses, which is all boring. You can also do this on the bottom bracket too, if you want to be, you know, as long as it's been reamed and faced from the factory or from the frame builder, which I always do. Not all factories do. Just use block and sandpaper. Free skis. Free. And now I'm just going to boringly come along and do all the rest of the bosses just to make sure. What I'm not going to do is do the inside of the seat tube, because it doesn't need it, because it was masked really, really well. But if you need to do the inside of the seat tube, it's full of powder, you can kind of do the same thing. Get a wooden dowel, get a half round file, wrap it in sandpaper just like I did the wooden block. Just go around cleaning in there. Just clean maybe a really small seat post and just gently sand around and clean until that powder's gone enough for you to get your real post in. I also have an actual seat tube reaming tool I can use. I have big giant flex hones that I can put on a drill and run through. You can do those too. Those are nice. The reamer's made to only take it out to 27.2 or whatever. And those flex hones are made to not actually make the metal thinner, just to get it real clean and smooth. A gap in my silver? Oh, it sure is. It's a tiny gap in this. Once those things powder coat, I've really seen a couple of things that I missed. No bike's perfect. Custom frame builders will leave little pinholes, little gaps. And you're like, oh, that doesn't look perfect. That is better than the alternative. A lot of amateurs will come through and reheat and reheat and reheat and reheat the lug to try and get every point perfect, to try not have any blobs anywhere, you know, try and hide all the pinholes. And sometimes you can do that for a show bike, but you do that for real bikes. Putting them through an extra heat cycle is putting them through hell. I would way rather have a tiny little gap in the silver, you know, something slightly ugly. There's a little one here I left for sure because I didn't want to give it a reheat right in the thinnest part of the tube. You know, there's on that rack somewhere there's a pinhole. It's just like a little pock mark in the brass. It's better to leave it and have it not be perfect and be sad about it than it is to give that thing a second or third or fourth or fifth heat cycle until the bike is so weak it just wants to break. So that's why sometimes you'll see real fancy bikes with little teeny flaws in them. That frame builder knows better. It knows the flaw is cosmetic, not structural, and reheating it to hide that flaw would be structural, could be structural. Here's a fun trick if you ever have to get up into these fender bosses or up inside the bridges. They're too tight, especially this one, to actually get a tap handle in. Usually a black spoke wrench you can kind of force onto an M5. I think the blue one does M6. Yeah, you can kind of pretend like you're twisting a spoke. So be careful starting it. You never want to force these. They're real sharp. They could cross-thread and destroy stuff real easy. I'm glad about all these bosses. They all do seem a little tight and gunky. Well, most of them seem a little tight and gunky. Can you see this one? Kinda. Seen somebody else. I saw somebody use like a small drill chuck to do this the other day. Chucked it up and got in here and got into a tight spot. And yeah, the spoke wrench wants to twist and turn a little bit. It's a little trickier. Definitely seen guys super glue spoke wrenches onto a tap, or probably silver braze them. Sickness. Do these dropouts too, just to be sure. This is the first time I ever used these dropouts. I recently got like 25 sets new old stock. Nice big thick forged vintage touring dropouts. Supporting the tap, twisting the handle. Straight in. Really even no force. Something else I mentioned I should talk about is these dropouts. Like I said, if the wheel doesn't fit in, or if the wheel sits crooked, put in here, it really could be because there's a big thick bit of powder here and not there, so I'll take a small round file and come in and clear any high spots, stick a flat file on the face. And if I'll clear any high spots so that wheel sits straight again. Clear it off the sides and the top and the bottom of the face, anywhere you need to get that wheel sit straight. Worst case, you just gently sand it all the way through, all the powder coat everywhere in there. Sometimes you just have to file a blob. Liquid paint is so thin. It's like 0.4 of a millimeter. Something just insane. 1/16 of a millimeter. It's like so thin. The powder can definitely be a mil or two. I've definitely got powder coated bikes back. This is something to be wary of. The powder was so thick you couldn't clamp a front derailleur clamp on. You either decided to score the powder or take that front derailleur clamp and file the inside of it out a little teeny tiny bit and sand it. Put a clamp on here without putting so much pressure on it, could dent or break the frame. It's really scary, especially with ultralight frames. I do some like 7/4 tubes and stuff. The tube is so thin, you can squeeze it real hard in the middle and probably dent it. Guys like that ultralight stuff, man. Just gotta do the candy bosses, and then we'll get to that fun part I was mentioning. One last thing I noticed that these candy bosses, they must have taped them off before they sandblasted them. The other ones looked about the same. Not sandblasted, so there's like black from, there's a little bit of rust, there's a little bit of black from torching it or whatever. I just peeled that green powder coater's masking tape off, and some of the residue stuck on here. I don't like that. I want these things to be smooth and clean. We'll grease them, we'll put the fresh brake on. I want them to move. I don't want them to have any binding. So here's a little piece of scrap sandpaper, emery cloth, that I ripped into a little thin shred. And I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to buff these candy bosses a little bit all the way around. I want to get all that tape residue off. I want to get any rust, any carbon scoring, any of the black. It'll be clean and smooth and shiny. This one needed to be tapped pretty bad. This one was nice and loosey-goosey. Everything else is tapped. Oh, I haven't done the derailleur hanger yet. It's probably fine. Usually I align a frame or double check anything at the end, which I'll probably do before I build it. I should probably do it now. I will tap these threads both on my derailleur hanger, align my tool to my dummy wheel, and make sure that derailleur is aligned perfectly so the derailleur can actually shift and do what it's supposed to instead of being all grinding and weird. If your bike won't shift, if your bike shifts like shit, there's a good chance this derailleur hanger is slightly tweaked. There's also a really good chance your old cable and housing is mangled or tight somewhere or got some corrosion in it. The last thing I remember I didn't mention is this keyway slot for the binder bolt. It was nice and thin, powder coat went in, no problem, but I've spent hours of my life filing the tiny little rifler's file to get some excess powder coat out of the way of this, out of the way of the little keyway hole, filing to get it out of, like the brake cable bosses and stuff, just fill these guys full of clear coat. Eventually you learn that instead of spending hours filing in here all tiny, the best thing to do is just like use a step down ferrule. So it goes from 5 mil down to 4, and then it'll usually fit. All right, it is now the fun part. The fun part is I'm going to wash my hands first, then I'm going to show you the fun part. Now is the fun part. I mean, this might already come on your bike. But if you're getting it freshly powder coated, or sometimes you buy them from the factory, they don't come with the decals. So I got these decals. I had these made probably like 2011, 2012, a long time ago. But they're like a kind of muted gold, not shiny or sparkly. There's like kind of a classy gold on clear vinyl, so that they will look good on whatever I put them on, which is mostly true. They're a little too subtle for a lot of people. I have my handmade ones. I also have my modified to buy one. Sometimes I'll do most of the decal set plus the modified sticker. And then I also have the new modified ones, which I had on like holographic. Modified by Star Michael Bowman. I like good down here. C-tube. I got to put one on his head tube the other day. For all the bikes that I, do 650B candy bosses on, or add water bottle bosses to, the bikes that I trick out and do cool stuff to. I got a clean paper towel. Rubbing alcohol, the little areas I like to stick decals to. Making sure we're getting that cutting oil off or gone, anything that's left over. Real nice and clean skis. Now sticking decals is kind of a trick. You kind of got to get it. I made this one to fit like this. You can see the Bowman, Star Michael will be on top. You can see the Bowman. And I usually won't hit my water bottle boss or my shift bosses. But get them on nice and straight and even. Can be a trick. You can always mark this with Sharpie and clean it off later. You can do stuff. A good decal installer will use like the tip of an X-Acto knife or something to peel this back so you don't get a fingerprint under it. I just wash my hands. I just rubbing alcohol them. It's all probably fine. Peel it back a little bit. Kind of right in between, kind of sticking it in the middle. In theory, come on, bub. In theory, peel this all the way back and have it be pretty straight. It's not straight. Of course it's not straight. Why would it be straight? Kind of line it up down the tube. Kind of line up the edge of the decal with the edge of the tube. Rubbing it carefully, slowly as I go, trying to get all the air bubbles not trapped in here. Same thing coming this way, nice. Rub-a-dub. Slowly working your way down, going across and down. No air bubbles. Looks pretty flat, pretty straight, pretty good. You don't want to be too good. You ever see a really nice old race bike, people over restore them, you're like, that looks weird. Yeah, because at the factory, old ladies were slapping decals on, doing the paint. They didn't care. My little Star Michael little head badgie logo. This is a really awkward logo because the arrow sticks out, so you can't actually center it. You gotta be like off center. I've never liked it. That's the truth. Just sort of peeling the white back. The decal hanging out. Same thing, trying to smooth it down, not have it just flap into place and catch air bubbles. Work it from the center to the edges. At Northern, I had this cool guy called Ride Your motherfucking bike. He was like cutting them out of vinyl for us. We'd stick them on and he'd peel the transfer paper off and just leave the vinyl. There's no actual, with the lettering, there's no actual like decal. That was pretty cool. I'll probably get some more done like that with this logo. Still trying to decide if I want to change my name to something else cool. I was thinking of Secret Cycles because I'm in a hidden shop again. It'd also be fun if I ever started a real shop again. I'm also thinking ragamuffin bikes because I am poor and dirty and very ragamuffin-y. But I don't want people to think the quality's bad or something because of that. Here's my handmade decal. I usually like to put it up here somewhere. I think I want to put, oh man. I I'm gonna go a little lower because I think I'll put a frame decal on here too. I think I might have some here, and that's always fun. Kind of working it back. Really, an X-Acto knife is what most guys do. Sure, it's fine. Beautiful. I got this fun little arrow sticker too. They're always pointing the wrong way. I think I really had it made to put down like on the chainstay down here on this side. I don't know why. Could put it on this side just so some branding on both sides. Why not? I'll put it right in the middle of this tube where your knee's gonna always hit it. It's gonna be weird. Handmade stomach foamer little arrow weirdness. Gotta have some fun decals. It's too simple, it's kind of boring. Might be slightly crooked, it's not supposed to be perfect. Let's dig through some stickers. Got a bunch of fun little ant stickers. Could put an ant or two on there, it'd be kind of fun. Got so many stickers. So most of my collection of stuff. Sun Tour, oh, here's one of the old Norther. I had these made for the modifieds. So a big like belt buckle badge made for our handmade bikes. And this is like a stamped piece of aluminum with like a sticky back. That was really cool for modified bikes. Got the color looks good. I wonder if I should put one of these on here too. You know, just in case. Just let people know. I don't know, I might. Ooh, you know, I do have some sick American flag, like glossy, like 80s, like shiny chromium stickers in my 4th of July bike. Maybe I need a little American flag sticker on there. In Portland though, so it might firebomb it or something. This is a pretty fun one. Little American flag, chromium, says USA on it. That might be cool. Little shiny American flags. All right. I came here for a frame decal sticker, but here's all my modified stickers. Ooh, watch my last video. I was talking about how I like making buttons and showing off a book. Here's a button I made. Big, giant bad boy with an original Sears Nintendo ad out of the back of a comic book from like 1989 or something. That's fun. Oh man. Ooh. Ooh, I might want this for my sister's bike. Some giant American flags. Got a bunch of other frame builder stickers. I got friends who've made stickers. Here's a cool Ira Ryan sticker. Here's an old Kenton cycle repair. It's the first sticker I ever had made for my very first bike shop. A little Renee Hurst cranks in the middle. And like a head badgie logo on the outside. This is such a good thing. I totally want to redo this very much. Kenton cycle repair. My partner's wife, she was a graphic designer. She made that up for us one day. Very nice. Summersville Bike Kitchen. All sorts of other ones, but don't I have... Ooh, okay, here's some. Columbus fork stickers. I think it's for the Chrome War, but it doesn't say. Columbus Zona stickers. Oh, this bike isn't actually Columbus tubing. I don't know if I care. Almost everything I build is. Oh, Tongay 2 chromium stickers. I think I actually got these for the Novara Randonnée. I can get around to it. Thought it'd be faster. This is a fun one I got on eBay like 10 years ago. A bunch of new old stock Huffy decals that rub on. I did a really cool hot pink bike for a friend, like a racing rando bike. 732s, but a rake bike, a race bike, dynamo hubs. We could do. He thought his rando bike was overkill for a lot of rides. He's like, I just want to do something fast. I don't need it to be up fenders and all that stuff. I'm gonna do fast. You know, I'm gonna do like a 400K today instead of a 1200 or whatever. I got these new old stock Huffy decals for it. It was so fun. Here is an envelope full of stickers. Oh yes, here's the good stuff. Some super vintage Columbus stickers on gold foil. I want all my stuff on gold foil. That's what I'm gonna do it next time. Ooh, a slightly darker red with this gold ink. This might look really good on this bike, actually. Gold foil I'll save. Velo cals. New old stock Reynolds 531 stuff. That's fun. Now I got a bunch more somewhere too. Here's my favorite sticker we ever had done. My friend Moss did this one day. He was just sitting at the shop, and he just drew this because I was listening to Master of Puppets at Norther. And then I'm like, dude, can you? He's like, I do computer stuff. Like, can you just make this all computery and cool? Make this into an awesome sticker. I think we did a shirt of it too. Like, it's rad. That's rare now. Here's one of the little tiny Northern Lion ones. I think the head badge ones were bigger than this. I think this is a little tiny one. Maybe I was sticking on the fork blades or was thinking about doing something with. Very rare and cool. The rest of the Northern Lion stuff I'm going to mail it all back to Jeff. My whole file on everyone who bought one, what size, warranty stuff. This little envelope says stickers. I wonder what's in here. Oh, it's an old hot rod sticker. This is from the 90s, early 2000s. This is before I was even this nuts about bikes. What do you think? You think this red sticker? I think this red sticker. I'm going to put one of these on here. Maybe put one of these shiny USA ones on here. Because it's funny. Maybe I could do it with a chainstay or something. Alright, sticker. Are you a sticker? Not something weird? Don't gotta worry about fingerprints on this guy. It's not transparent. Oh boy. Yes. Most of these I probably ordered off eBay. You know, someone remaking a lot of cool stuff. Doesn't feel that sticky. It's probably straight-ish. Looking at it right from the front, it's probably slightly crooked. Looks pretty good. Might do these weird Columbus ones on the fork blade. I wish I had some matching ones now. Ugh. I'm gonna do one of these little hearts. Can't help it. This is gonna get a little bit tacky, but also I'm here for a good time, man. Put it right down underneath my little guitar pick. I can't even tell if it's straight. It doesn't matter. It's definitely not that straight. So fun. Should I do that? Should I do a Made in the USA one or like wrap around? Oh, vintage bikes have wrap around decals. This might be a lot already. Trying to keep it real classy. I think the gold's gonna look good with being able to see all the brass and silver. God, I kind of want to. It's my 4th of July bike, you know? I'm gonna go nuts. They're just stickers. Gosh, should I do another one? Should have done this instead of the frame decal. Do above. Go below. Gonna regret this. I could use these as the fork. I could do the hearts as the fork decals. Alright. Heck yeah. Yeah. Wow. Come on, baby. Stick. Totally crooked. Lol. Is it too much? Does it totally distract from the bike? Probably. I don't care. Put another American flag on that too. Just put fucking shit everywhere. I do want to put some of these ants on. I'm gonna put them on the top of the fork crown. I don't know why. People are gonna look there. Maybe I'll put one on the head tube too. It's a weird ant sticker sheet I found at Goodwill one day and I was like, that's pretty fun. Why would I not want to have ant stickers? Ha! These are almost invisible on the sheet. Man, they stick out on this bike, I'll tell you what. And they're just stickers. I think it's too ugly or too gaudy. You can just pull them off. Fun ant decals. Boy, you guys are really on here. Totally ridiculous. Put one up here. A tube sticker will be real noticeable. Maybe one walking along the old top tube just for fun. But I swear I'll stop. I swear I'll stop. Good times. Well, it's a good thing there's not room. Oh god, there's kind of room. Kind of want to put these two stickers on here too. Let's make it ridiculous. Canton Cycle Repair. Norther Cycles. I used to have some Norther Cycles ones. They're in the shape of a head badge. There's like a Olympia beer one that Greg Ginzart, I always say his name wrong, did. He did like an Operation Ivy one, and he did some other cool ones. God, I might just put it on here. Usually like to go for subtlety in class. Not really doing that. This would get so tacky. It would get so tacky. I don't care, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. Then I swear I'll probably stop unless I want to put a few more ant stickers on here. Ugh. This bike's really just for display. I probably won't ride it. Probably won't ever build it. It's going to be on display when I have fun stuff to look at. I don't remember these being so much of a nightmare to peel the sticker off of. There we go. Because otherwise I got all these Norther decals and I don't know what to do with any of them. Oops. Well, that looks real good on here. That looks real good on here. I went and got this Kenton Cycle Repair sticker. pretty much the day I thought the shop closed. Rich closed it. You know, he probably bought me out like 8 or 10 years ago. And he closed the shop. He was trying to sell it. Our old manager slash Ashley, she was a City Bikes person we kind of stole and kept around. And she was our only full-time mechanic for a long time. And we made her a manager so that Rich could buy me out. She was trying to buy it and it fell through, probably financing. But then some kids from Joe Bikes bought it and they're keeping it. They're keeping the logos, they're keeping the neighborhood, and they're keeping it cool, keeping the vibes, which I like. I put a lot into that shop. So when they're on the last day, I got this sticker. Now they're reopened and keeping all the logos. So hopefully we get some more. This is real thick and nice. This is not exactly the one I made. You know, that was years and years and years ago. Wow. Wow. It's a gorgeous logo. Wow. All right. I want to put like ants going all the way down the top tube. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? I don't know. She looks good. It's gonna be a display bike. I did get a new old stock needle bearing headset for it. It's gonna be a display bike. I have some extra gold headsets. It'd probably look better. I might throw those in just so I can put the stem and decal and front rack on. It's fucking slightly chewed up steer tube. And then we'll basically call it done for now. For now. Of course, as I'm going to put stuff away, I find one of the Northern ones. This is the one that Spencer built from Nomad Cycles, or drew. I'm going to put it on here too. I got the other ones. These are all things that I helped design. I worked with. Things I built with partners and stuff. Things that I had a big hand in. I want it to be real cool in my display bike. This is a nice bright gold ink on clear decal. I also had a serial number decal I put up here like a tubing sticker. And the serial number part was left blank, and I peel these up backwards and write the serial number on with a super fine paint pen, like backwards, so it would look right when you flip it over. Did every one of those got another line with a serial number sticker on it? I did that by hand, the hardest way possible. Got a 2 in it. It was real hard to do. This is like impossible. That's pretty hot. All right, we're at the end. I went ahead and I pressed in the super cheap, like $10 off eBay gold anodized aluminum headset. It's super cheap. There's a big gap up here, which probably needs some gap, but like that's just gonna drain into the bearing. Cheap stuff, but it's cool. It's $10. The dummy headset's like $45, so this is a better placeholder than that. Got the stem, got the burrs and stuff all cleaned up and sanded out, and now it fits nice. I put a little grease on it. Everything fits nice. It's loose. It's not dangerous. It probably won't twist. Fits like a stem should fit. Got the rack bolted on, just the nut back here. Somehow, I think between the powder coat and the nut, my threads are like a millimeter or two too short. I can poke out a mil. So I have to get like a thin nut back there. I probably was test fitting it with a thin nut when I cut it when I measured it. Didn't put the double-sided VO rack bolts on yet because, you know, it doesn't need them for the rack just to sit there. Got the pump on. The pump's something I wanted to show. So if you can tell, the pump is a different color. Sandblasted aluminum doesn't get darker. So it's the same clear coat the same sparkly clear, but it isn't the same shade. I also took this pump. It also had sand. Like, this is my favorite pump, these Topeak Road Morphs, because they're spring loaded. And because they're just aluminum barrels that thread off on both sides. You can just take the head off, take the guts out, have them painted or whatever. I polished them, I painted them, I powder coated them. Never clear before. But I blew it out, I scrubbed the threads, I rolled up this tissue, or this paper towel, and put it through. You can see all this brown everywhere. This is full of silica dust. So I got it out, got it clean, put a tiny bit of grease on there. I love these pumps, spring loaded. Fits right into the crotch of the dropout. Clamps on here. I think this is like the medium I usually end up using. Yeah, I think they stopped making them. They still show up once in a while. Walmart.com says they have them for like $40. I'll probably start buying them there. So we can just fit right in there. We can use any other pump, but these Road Morphs also are the best looking, the easiest to paint match. They're also one of the best working pumps I've ever had. Every other weird medium-sized frame pump I've ever found that I could do this with, we literally 280, 300 pumps to get a 650B 42 from fix and flat up to about 55 PSI. These things 80, exactly 80 every time. So whenever I get a flat on the side of the road, I don't have to mess with gauges. I just swap the tube, put this in, count to 80, done, right off. Remember to reclose your straddle hanger and your brakes. I've forgotten that many times right off. I'm like, I got no brake. I did put all these cheesy stickers on. It looks kind of awesome. It's also starting to look kind of like one of those cheesy bike bros. They're just trying to look like a 60s hippie biker guy. Has like 5 million patches on stuff. Whatever, it's fun, it's for display. Rack on, stem on. I found a little silver barrel adjuster, looks pretty cool to put in this front cable stop. This is also very tight. It's going to be for a drop bar, so it should work. If not, I can put like some sort of little noodle angle thing in. Got the decalier, greased up these posts. Trying to keep them from rusting. Slides in, fits nice. Look what I found. Let's put the stickers away though. USA. This thing is so big, it can almost wrap around the whole tube. This would have been bitchin'. Those are the American flag stickers. Guess I'll just have to do another 4th of July bike next year. Since I already got too much stuff on it. This is the only bag I have sitting around the shop a friend gave to me. It is a old Ruthworks from San Francisco. This guy Ellie, I've met him a couple times. He's come up here for shows. I ordered a bunch of bags and pannier sets from him to sell at the shop. I got like a kind of cool red color. No one cared. End up selling all that stuff for less than I paid for it. No markup, no nothing. It's gorgeous stuff. It's really nice. Just no one cared. They wanted the throw bags, or they wanted the Swift bags. This is made out of the X-Pack, that black X-Pack material, like the Swift bags. It's just so sun faded and had so many billions of miles. Like, you can clearly see there are some pins on here. This thing's like ripped up, falling apart everywhere. It's cool. They gave it to me. I want to use it on some beater thrasher. You can see how the rack works. It's got a tombstone in the back. Any good handlebar bag has this little tombstone pocket. So you can slide right on. And then I like to ride my bikes this way with up here. So imagine the handlebar here. You basically have a windscreen for your hands now. A rain screen, a windscreen. You can still ride the brake hoods or whatever, but if your hands are cold, you can ride here and it's nice. Or it's got a little hooky down here so you can come close it and come over the hook. This way I have it over the decalier, which makes it harder to pop out and stuff, which is nice. I usually add an extra little hook up here so I can really overload the bag and have it hooked here so I can have it stuffed full of extra jackets and 6-packs and pizzas or whatever. And then you can see my decalier plate lines right up the bag here. So if I was going to run this bag on this bike, I would drill 3 new holes and bolt this decalier to it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And every time you want it to take off, you just come line it up, drop it on, and you're off to the races. So that's this bike. I just got to figure out a way to display it. I got these awkward little boards sticking out of my bench with the lights on it. I could probably hang it basically right under a light. Whoa, the ceiling is so shockingly, horrifyingly tall. It's got to be at least 25 feet tall. I don't want to get a ladder that tall. I don't want to be on top of that ladder. I'm gonna hang it about like right here. Be hard to look at because the light's too bright. I don't know. I got that handrail that I put in. It should probably go on that. I put like the top of a car bike thing holder, but you need to have the wheels for that. Maybe I could just make a little teeny thing just to support the bottom bracket and use one of those like fork clamp-on stands like I used when we were cleaning the crown race off and put it up on top of this guy. Ugh. I want to whip around and chip the paint. Ugh. It's probably really like here. Ugh. This would be a pretty dope place to display it, I suppose. Really in my way till I do that. Pretty happy with it. Pretty happy with it. It's pretty okay. It's pretty fun. I'm gonna take pictures as soon as it gets nice outside. It's like dumping rain. Gotta take it outside. You need like a bright sunny day, but you need to be in the shades or no shadows. But on a bright day, then the pictures look good. It's like a plain back wall. I'm gonna find a spot, take some cool photos of it, put it up on the Instagrams, put it on my website, be like, yo, bro, making some bikes again. This bike's a little bit ugly. It has a few details. I'm never happy with anything I do. I'm one of those really messed up perfectionists who are just like, I see every little flaw and they just look so huge and glaring. And you look up close, like, oh, it's barely noticeable. It's barely a flaw. It's the tiniest little cosmetic defect. You know, these guys don't match exactly. You know, there's a pinhole. There's off by a millimeter. You know, little stuff like that. This angle looks like a half degree off to me. Little stuff, and I was like, ugh. You just gotta keep making more and get better and better and better. I think I'm better than I've ever been before with flowing silver under lugs. I've gotten that really good. There's one little tiny point. And it doesn't go quite up to the very tippy of the point. It's like a 1 millimeter. The guy used to blob them everywhere and spend hours filing. Spent any time filing. So I got all the silver in, got it pulled through, pulled around, filled in and full with maybe the tiniest little blob in one little spot. This is usually where you insert the silver, so it always melts a little bit. I used to do so. I either get way too little or way too much. I'm pretty happy with this. This is pretty good. This one I don't see a silver ring on this water bottle boss. I'm like, that's a little scary. The rest of them have big fat rings. But the silver went through and went all underneath these guys. There's plenty in there. It's brazed in. Just can't see it. Just little teeny tiny things, little blobs. Once it's sandblasted, you think it's going to get rid of all that extra, but it sure didn't. There's still little blobs. That's part of the charm as well. It's wabi-sabi. It's handmade. It's the perfection of imperfection. So that's this one. I'll probably do a video like this with my sisters because there'll probably be something there I didn't catch. It's threaded and it's different stuff. I cannot wait to do it. So thanks for watching. There's a little air bubble. Tiny little air bubble under the bee. Just gotta work it out. It's like a slightly lighter color where there's an air bubble there. It's not right against the paint. Anyways, thanks for watching. It's gonna be so long.